Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome back to the New York Jets franchise as we wrap up the regular season here in this episode. Now, the last game of the season is just the Tennessee Titans, 5-9-1 on the season. They are the only team from the AFC South not to make the playoffs. They also are missing their star running back in Derrick Henry, out with a partial MCL tear, which ended his season before getting to 1,000 yards. He had 7 touchdowns on the year and just about 850 yards. Now, they do still have Ryan Tannehill under contract, 3 more years remaining on that one, including this one. So really 2 years after this year. But you got to think they might be thinking about replacing him and maybe just, I don't know about tearing it down, but maybe drafting a quarterback and maybe stashing him until he does eventually get to start. Now, their defensive secondary is an issue, and so has their receiving corps. Remember, they let go of Corey Davis in free agency. He went over to the Bills, and they have a couple of guys with expiring contracts, Keelan Doss, Rashard Higgins, but guys that aren't really going to make a huge difference. Now, let's talk about our team. And, you know, I'm thinking about these contract extensions, and one guy that's been the talk of discussion has been BJ Hill. But he's been hurt ever since we got him. Right when we traded for him, he got hurt. And then this season, he's been hurt the whole year in a contract year. That's just not acceptable. He only has a half sack this season. So then I look at the alternative here, and who has really stepped up in his absence? It's Henry Anderson. He's a lifelong Jet, and I love keeping lifelong guys. And just looking at his production, highest sack total of his career. I mean, that is warranting a definite extension. So we will reward him and give him a new contract. I think he well deserves it, to be honest. And Henry Anderson really is 30 years old, and I think that I can get a couple of more years out of him, to be honest. So we're going to extend him for a 2-year deal, and hopefully he accepts that. And with how I offer my contracts, I do not go with the fair offer that they want. I give them the fair market that they would get in real life. So that pretty much puts him in the middle of the defensive end contracts, and I just wanted to kind of mirror real life with these numbers. So the next guy I want to look at is Christopher Herndon. A lot of you guys have said, you know, re-sign him. Some think I should not, but I'm going to do it. And the thing is, having 2 good tight ends on the roster has definitely been beneficial, and especially if, you know, what if one of the guys goes down. So I just want to read you guys some of the top contracts in the NFL right now. George Kittle, $15 million. Kelsey at $14 million. Hunter Henry at $10 million. Austin Hooper at $10 million. And Kyle Rudolph at $9 million. So those are the top 5 highest paid tight ends. So this one will put him at exactly at number 5, and he will be signed for the next 3 seasons as he agrees to that contract. And here we go in our last game of the season, and with newly signed guys, a fresh start for them with the new contract. And I'm looking forward to the future I have with Henry Anderson and Christopher Herndon. Now, this game, I'm only going to play the starters 1 possession. I just want to get them some momentum going into the playoffs. Yes, we are kind of playing for a playoff seeding, but we have officially punched our ticket. Right now, we're sitting here with the last wild card spot. So here is Deion Carter, who has to fill in along with LaMichael Pirine, as Le'Veon Bell is out with an injury for the rest of the season. So here's a quick throw, and that's Denzel Mims getting going. He's got his first catch, gain of 15. That one puts him over 1,000 yards on the season. So Pirine in the game, showing some vision that time and getting skinny, getting about 6 yards on that carry. So from our own 48 this time, handoff. This time it's Pirine, and he picks up just enough for the first down, and they will give it to him. So now at the 49 again, Darnold in the pocket. He's going to move and throw on the run, and he's got Tariq Macklin, and that's what I'm talking about. I love having these 2 tight ends, especially if, say, Herndon gets tired and Macklin needs to come in. And you can see we gave him that number 42 back, so he is back to that number. He also lines up at running back and fullback. Just remember that. So 2nd and 14, quick throw across the middle, wide open Berrios, and he picks up about a gain of 13. That brings it to the 20. Handoff Pirine. He's got the first, pushed out of bounds, and it's going to be 1st and 20 now after the penalty. So after a holding call at the 22, quick throw, bubble screen, RPO, and Barrios has got room. He gets inside the 5. He's got the burst. You know, he doesn't really separate like Crowder does, but he's got good speed. As look at this, Tariq Macklin is out with an ACL sprain. So that's the reason why I did not want to play my starters this game too much, because I do not want any injury going into the playoffs. So handoff this time. It's Deion Carter. He's in. It's a touchdown, and that's a 7-0 lead. And after this drive, I actually go and sit our offensive starters. So a lot of the offensive linemen, a lot of the offensive guys will be sitting for the rest of the game. That also goes for the defense after the first possession. We will sit a lot of our starters as there's a throw across the middle, and that's caught by Jonnu Smith. And Bryce Hall, the second-year back out of Virginia, he gets the start at the left cornerback. So now Tannehill throws across the middle. That's caught by Darrington Evans out of Appalachian State. He picks up the first down. So at the 32, now starting the second quarter, the pressure's getting to Tannehill. He moves to the right side. Jordan Jenkins gets there, but a throw all the way across the field is caught by Adam Humphries. So Humphries has his first catch of the game, getting it to the 26. Tannehill backing up, nobody to throw it to, and we finally get to him, and that's Fadu Kazi who gets the hit on the quarterback, and it's incomplete, and that will be 3 points for Tennessee. So in comes P.J. Walker at quarterback. He's going to finish out the game for us here as we hand off to P. Ryan, and he picks up a gain of 10 yards. So P. Ryan and Deion Carter Jr. will remain at running back, though, as we hand off this time up the middle, and that's a first down. We actually also sat Mekhi Becton, Alex Mack, and I believe we sat Edoga. So George Fant is at right tackle right now. So throw out to the right side, and that is P. Ryan wide open. He could have went for a touchdown. P.J. Walker definitely missed one. So 3rd and 9 from the 45. Here's P.J. He throws, and it's caught. And that is Jacoby Beck getting his first meaningful playing time of the season for the rookie. He's more of a returner, though, as that brings us to about 5 minutes left here in the second quarter. Is P.J. Walker buying some time? He has some good blocking. He throws deep, and it's caught by Taywan Taylor inside the 5. Nice throw by P.J. Walker. I need to see what he can do as a backup quarterback. You never know. So Carter in the game, handoff to him on the 1. It's a touchdown. Deion Carter Jr. getting some playing time now that Le'Veon Bell is hurt, and he's showing me some things. He's got some burst. It's now 14-3. So good lead right before halftime. Here's a screen pass out to Darrington Evans, who catches it, makes a move, and gets pushed out of bounds by C.J. Mosley. So now close to the 40 now. They hurried up to the line, trying to get some points on the board before halftime. They throw to the right side, and another catch, and another first down that time. And it looks like B.J. Hill, who else is hurt on that play? I'm not sure if I'm bringing back B.J. Hill after seeing what he has done this season. He's hurt every single game, and he doesn't have any type of production when he's in, as they throw wide to the left side, and it's caught. Wow, Humphries had a touchdown. That was a blown coverage on that play. So from the 14, quick throw, it's caught, and that is Rashard Higgins for the touchdown, and they get on the board now into the end zone. It's 14-10, as now we have 3 timeouts. Let's see if P.J. Walker can put together a drive before half. First pass out to left side, and it's caught. Back again. He's got a big-time gain. He tries to make a man miss, but gets to the 45. So the clock does continue to run here. We run a man in motion. P.J. Walker under center this time, but the pressure gets to him. It's a sack. That's DeMarcus Walker, who signed with the Titans. So now 2nd and 16 this time from our own 39. Throw to the right side, and it's caught by the new practice squad tight end, now promoted, Doris. He's getting some playing time. So P.J. Walker throws on a 3rd and 3. Taywan Taylor's got it. He gets to the sideline. Couldn't get out of bounds, though. And we call our second timeout. So 16 seconds left. Here's a throw to the sideline again, and Walker's got it. That's Taywan Taylor. He's got it. And that is going to be a timeout there with 3 seconds left. And we will settle for 3 and get some points before halftime, making it 17-10 going into the second half. So here is Tannehill back out onto the field, down by 7 as he throws to the left side, and that is an acrobatic catch that time by A.J. Brown. He is going to be one of the best receivers in the NFL. So 3rd and 4 at the 34-yard line. Quick throw. It's caught. Jonnu Smith breaks a tackle, still on his feet, and gets brought down from behind. It's a first down. Tackled by Ashton Davis, and George Caver was also there, the 5th-round pick out of Tennessee. So they eventually get it inside the 10 now. 3rd and 7, running a little screen pass. But Tannehill doesn't throw it right away, but he throws it late, and it's a tackle by Blake Cashman, and Tennessee settles for 3. So a 17-13 game as now we try to hand off this time on the next drive, and that's Carter who coughs it up. He gets smacked on that one by Simmons. Picked up by Daquan Jones, and wow, Carter got nailed on that one, and that one just got jarred loose. Carter, welcome to the NFL. So they get the ball now inside the 5-yard line with goal to go on a 2nd and goal, and they get the points off of the turnover. Jonnu Smith, and now it's a Titans lead. So now down 20-17. Let's see what P.J. Walker has in him. This time, scrambles out to left side. He's got space, and he picks up the first down now across the 50 to the 46. So the 3rd quarter does wind down here. P.J. Walker under center. He's going to hand off Carter, big-time hole, and he hits it hard. First down. Carter has the burst, to be honest. Like, he has the speed. I really, really like that, and I'm going to start to use him more in the future, even when Le'Veon Bell comes back. After a nice throw that time to Taywan Taylor, P.J. Walker now at the 19, 9 minutes left. He moves to the right side. He's going to take it himself. Nice block on the outside, and he picks up the first down inside the 10. Kenny Vaccaro on the hit. So we get it inside the 5-yard line now at the 2. P.J. throws to the right side, looking for Beck again, and it's going to be knocked away by Adoree Jackson, I believe that was. And we end up settling for 3 points here on the goal line, making it a 20-20 game. So here we are back on our defense. Let's see if we can come up with a stop this time. Tannehill in the pocket, throws up the seam, and he's got Adam Humphries. Big time throw by Tannehill. That was gutsy. He had a running back right out of the backfield. Tannehill has only missed 1 throw this game. So here he is in the pocket this time. Pressure gets to him, and he coughs it up. It's picked up by Isaiah Wilson, the right tackle, and brought down by C.J. Mosley, but a strip sack on that one, and they lose a ton of yards. So now 3rd and 24. Tannehill throws to the right side. He's got Jonnu Smith, but keeping him pretty much behind the 50-yard line. That didn't work, and he gets a lot of that yardage back, but it's 4th and 7. They're forced to punt. So here is Carter, hopefully not fumbling the ball this drive, and he picks up a gain of 4 yards. So inside our own 10-yard line this time, 3rd and 6. P.J. steps up in the pocket, tries to stop and throw. He's got Berrios open, and he gets sacked and fumbles it. It's picked up by Tennessee. We had a man wide open on the sideline that time. P.J. Walker tried to set his feet and get rid of it, and he couldn't, and coughs it up. That's the 2nd turnover here, setting the Titans up with a red zone opportunity off of a fumble. So the Tennessee Titans can take the lead here with 3 minutes left. As Tannehill is in the shotgun, he throws to the end zone on the first play. It's a touchdown. Adam Humphries comes up with it, and Tannehill has missed 1 throw this entire game, and now he has his team in the lead. So can this possibly even ruin their draft position if they win this game? They got to be thinking about that. Maybe not, as we throw out to the right side. That's incomplete. P.J. Walker missed a wide open guy. So 3rd and 10 this time. P.J. steps up in the pocket, and he goes down. Harold Landry gets there for his 2nd sack. He actually is credited with 1.5. And now 4th and 20. If we don't get it here, it's probably the game. Walker in the pocket throws, and he's got Doris, the new tight end, and knocked away. And that one will effectively end this game. Tennessee gets the win versus our backups here pretty much 27-20, and we still will remain in that last AFC wildcard spot, but we knew we had our ticket punched before this game, and I honestly did not want to risk any type of injury So we played our backups and we come up with the loss. How about the game from Tannehill, though? 18 of 19, 3 touchdown passes. PJ Walker didn't look bad. He missed a couple of throws, but actually it was pretty nice having him and seeing what he can do. Now, Deion Carter ran for 2 touchdowns off of 17 carries. I wanted to get him more carries than P. Ryan because I'm going to need P. Ryan in the playoffs, especially with Le'Veon Bell out. And then our receiving core, like I said, we sat most of our starters, so the backups really got some playing time on both sides of the ball, including offensive line. So we didn't really have a big game. But I let Frankie Louvu play that entire game, and he only had 1 sack. I was looking for him to really excel, and especially I want to see what he can do, especially with Brad Matthews out for the season. So we reached the end of the regular season, and look at that. The Jacksonville Jaguars finished 13-3. We lost to them earlier in the season. The Ravens are up there. They lose that number 1 seed after losing to us a couple of weeks ago. They end up with an 11-5 record. The Raiders take the AFC West with a 9-5-2 record. How does Madden have all these ties every single season? The Colts end up winning their division, I believe. And how about Washington? They are quarterbacked by a rookie. And it's not Pat Perez. I'm not really sure who it is, but they are 10-5-1. They actually end up with a number 1 seed in the NFC. The Panthers end up with number 2. That explosive offense that we faced earlier, it looks like offenses rule this year, because look at the Cardinals as well. They have an explosive offense, but Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, no more Larry Fitzgerald for them, but they still have a really good offense. In the East, the Patriots actually end up winning, so regardless of the outcome of our game, they would have took the division anyway, and they actually went 7-1 at home. We went 6-2 at home, and that's pretty much the trend that I see with a lot of these teams. I mean, everybody has a terrible away record, but a great home record. The Bears win the NFC North. Wow, that is a statement right there. And I have no idea what's going on with maybe the Packers that usually take that division. The Lions had a decent season. You got to think that number 1 draft pick, should they have went quarterback, maybe Brent Thompson. I mean, he went with a 13-3 team with the Jaguars, and he took that team to the playoffs. The Lions may have a little bit of buyer's remorse there with that number 1 pick. Now, let's just look at our team and look at the stats this season. Now, I think that Sam Darnold had some good games, but then had some just bad games. I think that, the thing with him is that he's got to be consistent with his throws, and that's one thing that I don't like about him right now. His ratings are really good. I mean, just look at it. Number 19 ranked quarterback in the NFL right now as far as ratings go. But he's just got to be consistent. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do as far as quarterback in the offseason. I literally have zero idea, and honestly, we have to see how the playoffs go to even make a decision there with any of these guys. Le'Veon was only 25 yards short of an 1,000-yard season. I actually thought that he didn't have that many yards, but then remember he had that big 150-plus yard game, and that one kind of resurged his season. But we did see a kind of glimpse of the future maybe. LaMichael P. Ryan has been playing pretty decently as a backup, and he had 5 touchdowns on the year, only 3 less than Le'Veon Bell did. And then Tariq Macklin actually played some running back. And how about Deion Carter now pretty much showing what he can do? I think he's got some ability, especially with catching the ball out of the backfield and being just more of a scat back. I like that out of him, and I want to see what this young backfield can do here in the playoffs. Now, Denzel Mims led us in receiving. He was over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Crowder would have definitely led us if it wasn't for his injury, that torn labrum that took him out for 4 weeks. He would have definitely led us in that category. I'm glad that he's back for the playoffs. Herndon had about 782 yards, receiving 6 touchdowns, a very good season from him. I love the duo of him and Macklin. I think they can both be like 700, 800-yard receivers each season. And then Braxton Berrios, he filled in pretty nicely. I think the thing about him is that, if you put him in the slot full time, is he really going to excel every single week? I don't think he will. I think he'll have very good games, and then some games he will just be locked up there. So that's why I thought it was a big priority to re-sign Jamison Crowder, and I wanted to get him back and to make sure that, I really have a pretty much a sure decision of who's going to be that slot guy when I do eventually replace Jamison Crowder. Even if I don't have to, I need a guy that can really be a slot guy that I can depend on. Now, I loved our offensive line this year, but we did not block well for the run. Blocking for the pass, we were tremendous, but running between the tackles was definitely an issue. Alex Mack was great at center, but our guards definitely had some games where I could not run the ball at all between the tackles. So looking at our defense, though, it was just really interesting. You know, we are actually tied for first as far as sacks. We were top 5 in fumbles forced, but then we were bottom 5 in interceptions. We finished with 9, which actually would tie us for 4th, I believe, as far as worst. So I really do have some trepidation about this secondary. I don't really know what the issue is. I mean, we're in position to make plays, to be honest. But sometimes, you know, just better receivers just beat us. We don't make a lot of plays on the ball, especially at the cornerback position. I think safety is pretty decent. Alex Hopkins had a pretty good year, and he's just a rookie. So I think he did tremendous, to be honest. And he definitely needs to improve his tackling. I think that's the one thing that I am going to be working on with him. But he has a bright future. I am very, very excited for him. He finished with 3 interceptions on the year. That led the team. Now, bless Austin, he's had a couple of years under me, and obviously in real life, he's had a couple of years of experience, or is it 1 year of experience? So I'm really looking for him to take the next step. I am hoping that he can earn another contract, but we'll definitely have to see. Rushing the passer was interesting. You know, Jordan Jenkins had a couple of games where he had some very good sack totals, but then once Brad Matthews got hurt, he disappeared. I could not find Jordan Jenkins on the field at all the last 3 or 4 games after Brad Matthews went down. And Brad Matthews had 12.5 sacks. He led our team. But Jordan Jenkins has to step up without Brad Matthews. He's going to be crucial here in the playoffs. And so will Quinnen Williams. I think that Williams kind of slowed down a little bit towards the end of the year. And honestly, that kind of speaks to the impact that Brad Matthews had as a rookie. I mean, we definitely had some great games when Brad Matthews was in the lineup. So I'm hoping that maybe, you know, some other guys can step up in his absence. So looking at the rest of our defensive line, I thought that Fadu Kazi played very, very well at nose tackle. I am looking forward to his future with the Jets. I don't see him going anywhere. I do want to maybe draft a backup nose tackle, but I think Fadu Kazi right now is the starter. I don't think his position is in jeopardy at all. We did acquire Brandon Dunn in trade, and he is just a guy. He's just a backup, but obviously the elephant in the room is BJ Hill. I mean, the guy just really has been disappointing since I traded for him. I thought he would be better, but it turns out that he just can't stay healthy. And even when he is healthy, he's not making plays. And he has a high injury rating as well. And I don't know. It just isn't going to work out, I don't think. I don't think I'm bringing him back at all. Maybe a little bit of a wasted trade, but at least we tried. We traded a late round pick. It wasn't really a high pick. It was like I believe it was a 4th round pick. It was either 3rd or 4th round. That's not terribly high, obviously. And for a guy that was a backup to Leonard Williams, I don't think it's too high of a price. So Jimmy Smith obviously lost his job, and it might be the end of the Jets' career for him. And it was just a short one season. But he's a little bit too slow on the outside, and when I put him in the slot in the nickel package, he just wasn't making plays that I thought he would make. Now let's just look at other rookies around the NFL, and now that I think about it, Dan Settle is the quarterback of the Washington football team. Trevor Banks, how about him? Now, he had a pretty good season, but I gotta be thinking, like, are the Lions really regretting passing on Brent Thompson? I mean, Brent Thompson led the Jaguars to a 13-3 record, which was the best record in the NFL. Luckily, this draft is a very deep quarterback draft. So if they can draft one of the top 3 quarterbacks in Chance Tyree, Justin DiRoberto, and also George Jenkins, I think they should be in good shape. But Brent Thompson was definitely a steal at number 3. I think the Jaguars definitely lucked out there, and lucky that the Lions did not go after him. Now, Javon Warren, he had a pretty good season next to Shaq Thompson. That's going to be an awesome duo, and he is going to be in the playoffs this season. But how about the Dolphins? With the number 2 pick, they went after Terrence Kitchens, who literally had 0 impact on the Dolphins this season. They're going to need to rebuild. I don't know what it's going to take, but it might take a quarterback. Tua is pretty good for them, but it's been 2 years. He had his chance this year as a full-time starter, and they finished at the bottom of the AFC East. I don't know where they go from here, but it's going to be interesting to see what the Dolphins do. Now, Pat Perez was the quarterback of the division-winning NFC North Bears. And look at him. I mean, he's doing pretty decent with them. I mean, he had 30-plus touchdown passes, less than 15 interceptions, and he looks good. Medium accuracy is very, very high. I'm excited to see what he can do for the Bears in the playoffs. So Deshaun Watson actually edges out Lamar Jackson. Now remember, going into that matchup a couple of weeks ago when we played the Ravens, Lamar Jackson was the front runner for MVP, and they had the best record in football. So Deshaun Watson took advantage, and he takes home the MVP. So he wins Offensive Player of the Year as well in the AFC. And then how about this? The same team, Texans, J.J. Watt gets Defensive Player of the Year, edging out Von Miller. So that is very, very interesting. The Texans look like they had a pretty good season. How about Tariq Macklin finishing third in Offensive Rookie of the Year in the AFC? Brent Thompson took it home. Now, Wayne Bayer beat out Brad Matthews for Defensive Rookie of the Year. He had 7.5 sacks for the Titans, but Brad Matthews had 12.5. I have no idea how he beat out Brad Matthews, and we even had a playoff team. That was just very, very interesting. I was hoping that Brad Matthews would get that so that he could have that dev trait upgrade. I believe if you get one of those awards, you do have a dev trait upgrade. And then looking at some other awards, we finished second in best linebacker for the second straight season. At least we had the best kicker, though. Zane Gonzalez wins that. So it's really, really interesting, how this season went. I did not expect us to go 10-6. That's a very good record. I was predicting maybe like 9-7. And I guess you got to aim high. There's Dan Settle. He did finish second in Offensive Rookie of the Year for the Washington football team, who had a very good season, very good record for them. And then looking at some other awards in the NFC, Chandler Jones finishes with Best Linebacker. And how about Richard Sherman? He wins Best Cornerback 2 years in a row. So we end up facing the Baltimore Ravens, who did not get a bye. Remember, they changed the playoff format so that the number 2 seed no longer gets a first-round bye. They just play the worst wild card team, and that was us. So we get a rematch versus the Ravens. We took home the first matchup. Can we beat a healthy Lamar Jackson this time? Hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah, they filling out these job applications. Life got hard after high school graduation. I went to college and your boy got financial aid. They gave me money, then I went and bought a pair of J's. And I bought a pair of shades. And I bought a new computer. Had $400 left, spent the rest on